in the right place.
There we go. All right, this one's for Bob. He really wants us all to take this in and really get this message. This is his daily mantra, his all day long mantra and meditation. So here
And he
it
really
is.
wants us to pass it along to the children.
To the children, yeah. Here we go. Up we go. Let's sing. God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul. God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul. God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul. God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul. God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul. God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul.
Okay, now we have a verse that we made especially for Bob. And he definitely needs all of our hope and prayers right now. He's having a rough time, but hopefully he's doing better. So let's sing this song, this verse, just for Bob. Here it comes in.
Here we go. Bob's love is right beside us, like sunshine it always shows. Bob's love is right beside us, like sunshine it always shows. We love you, Bob.
You don't know the first time I saw you or where it was.
Okay. Where?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
You're-
At Jack Graff's church.
I never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
It's been a long time.
Long time.
That was in the early days.
The early
The early days. So I know Greg as this traveling troubadour who has a beautiful message and a wonderful sense of humor. And I know that every time I've heard him speak, I've been touched. So this morning, give him a big welcome.
Thank you. I feel so blessed to be here today. Thank you, Beth. That was so sweet. And no, I never would have guessed Raleigh, North Carolina. Were you in that church, in that congregation? Oh, wow.
I worked there as the administrator. I booked you a couple times.
Oh, now it's coming back to me. Yes. Okay. There are some brain cells left. Is that me? Is this mine? Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay. It's a little staticky. Is this better? Okay. Can you change the EQ on this channel to match the EQ on the former channel so that everybody can hear me okay? Well, listen, I love this church. You know, this was actually one of the very, very first churches that had the guts. Tom Witherspoon, when he was here, was one of the very first ministers to take a chance on me, and I have really held this community in my heart ever since, and I feel so blessed to be here. And also, congratulations on 15 years. Beth, how about... And the other thing I want to say is, you probably know this, but in case you don't, it's you know how special it is to come to a church that has a music department, a band. This good, you know, it's not all that common, so it's pretty cool. Well, I'm thrilled to be here, and I want to just share some thoughts with you this morning about mystery. It's called A Brief Mystery of God, and so these are unanswerable questions we may never ever be able to really get our minds around. And what I feel like is the best attitude, the most helpful, healthiest attitude to have about some big questions. Okay, so I like to joke that I have attained a coveted NCW degree, no credentials whatsoever. Some of you may have that degree. Yeah. But the truth is, I did actually escape from college with a real degree, a BS, in geology. That's true. I wanted to be a rock star. I was confused but I was fascinated, and still am, by the big mysteries of geology, the big questions that geology tries to understand, like how these planets and stars formed from these big clouds of cosmic gas and dust, you know, these solar systems, and especially our solar system. And how so many billions of years ago, somehow out of inorganic matter, life evolved on this planet. That's still a big mystery. And then how is it that out of all the trillions or quadrillions of evolutionary possibilities, somehow we get to be the dominant species at this little micro moment in geologic time? And how all these geologic processes that still go on affect our experience of existence. It's very, very important here in Florida, you know, because the sea levels are going up. So I'm fascinated by all these. I still study them. I still read about them. But it wasn't long after I got out of college, I realized I was even more interested in what I think of as bigger questions, bigger mysteries. Like, what is God? If God exists, what is God like? What is God really like? What is consciousness? This amazing quality we have as humans to self-reflect. What is death? What happens to consciousness after death? What is love? What are women really thinking? Big mysteries. So I thought we could have some fun with this morning, and if we're going to start somewhere, we should probably start with God, because God's really the big mystery. And if we accept the idea that there is a God, that God exists, the next question is, well, what is God like? What is God really like? And you know, a lot of people have tried to tell us down through the centuries, the ages, whether they knew or not. They thought they knew, and they tried to tell us what God is really like. What I find fascinating as an observer is that our concept of God seems to change. As we grow and evolve, what we think about God seems to grow and evolve. But let me check that out. How many people here have a different idea of God than you did, say, 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago? Right. That's almost everybody. Which is fascinating to me, because I don't think God's changed much in the last 30 years. And I thought that deserved a song. So toward the end of this song, I like to use my science degree, so we're going to bring in some physics. I had trouble with physics in college, because when I signed up, I thought it said psychics. Wasn't what I thought. There's a new theory. You've heard this term, string theory. You've heard that word, that term, right? So when we get to the part of the song about strings, you'll know it's physics. So this is called A Brief History of God, or G-string theory. In the beginning there was was lots of competition. Goddesses and gods of every disposition, from merciful to mean, from laid back to hyper, and little baby gods that flew around in diapers. Animals, pranksters, destroyers, creators, flute players, lute players, nymphs and satyrs. So many gods it was hard to keep them sorted. God had multiple personality disorder. Well, keeping track of all these gods was no fun, so finally some people said, let's cut it down to one. But the one god was angry, always finding fault. There was banishment and floods and pillars of salt. Well, why? Was God traumatized at an early age by standing too close to the Big Bang? Was it nature or nurture or Satan's little goblins? God had anger, management problems. And God had other issues that messed with serenity, like this long-term question of sexual identity. The feminine divine or the male autonomous? God was so confused. Am I androgynous? And then on top of that, what was challenging the most was trying to figure out what the heck's the Holy Ghost. And God needed time off and checked into a clinic. And poor old God was becoming schizophrenic. While in for treatment, God sent some folks to teach us, like Krishna and Buddha and Moses and Jesus. On some things they agree, on other things they don't. And if you choose the wrong one, some say your soul is toast. Now everybody's praying by all these different rules. Muslims 5 times a day, Buddhists quite a few, Hindus, Jews, and Christians whenever there's a need, and Unitarians would rather plant a tree. Well, God's come a long way from that early dysfunction. Now science has brought us to this beautiful junction. The key to the theory is that every single thing is made up entirely of vibrating strings. Well, this is what musicians have known all along. The universe is really one big song. And there you have it, friends. That's the story so far. We're all just musical strings in God's big guitar. Thank you. It's a happy thought, isn't it? We're always vibrating. We're constantly vibrating. We never stop. So the trick is to stay in tune. Well, a lot of people have told us that God is love. And we like that answer. We like love. Love feels good. Many scientists, however, will tell you that love is just an evolutionary adaptation for the survival of the species. Well, I think it's a lot more than that. I hope they're wrong. I think it's complicated a little bit by the word love. We have this one word love for so many different experiences, range of emotions. You know, the Eskimos supposedly have 20-some words for the word snow, different kinds of snow. But we have this one word, love, for all these different kinds of experiences. We have divine love, earthly love, motherly love, brotherly love, unrequited love, unconditional love, faded love, jaded love, puppy love, love of chocolate chip cookies, and romantic love, which I confess is still a huge mystery. I'm fascinated by the choices we make. Choices I make, I should say. I'm fascinated by how love can be so strong for some length of time, and then after sometimes a long time, change and fade. How we can have so much chemistry with one potential partner and no chemistry at all with another potential partner. It's a big mystery. Let me ask you this. How many people have experienced or believe in love at first sight? Has that happened? Who's had that happen? Love at first sight, right? Okay. It's happened to me a lot. Usually goes something like this. A man is riding on a train. He's heading south, it starts to rain. He sings a soft and sad refrain. He thinks he'll never love again. On the other track, a train is heading north through the rain. A woman looks out her window pane. Her life has been a lonely game. The two trains pass, they're moving fast. Faces flicker past, 4 half-8 beat. Their two eyes meet, and instantly they both can see that they were meant to be. Yes, it happened just like that. It hit them like a thunderclap. Somehow they had seen the answer to their dreams passing on the other track. So at the next stop he gets off. A love like that must not be lost. He takes the next train heading north. He does not know she's done the same. So they pass again. 4 half-8 beat, their two eyes meet, but something's changed, it's not the same. Now they can see they were not meant to be. Well, she knew someday it would have to end. She wonders if they'll still be friends. All the plans he made all begin to fade as she disappears around the bend. He will never be the same. Deep in his heart she will remain. He looks out through the falling rain. He thinks he'll never love again. I think he's gonna love again. And again and again and again and again. Thank you. Linda Berry said, "Love is an exploding cigar we willingly smoke." And of course we do. What's better than love? John Bradshaw says that falling in love at first sight, falling in love, is actually this endocrine hormone cocktail that happens. It's measurable. Scientists have studied this. There are specific changes in the body that happen. They're measurable when we fall in love, and they typically last from 6 months to 18 months. And then everything kind of goes back to base setting. So for a relationship to last past that hormone cocktail, it has to be based on something other than the hormone cocktail, right? Something deeper, something more profound, something maybe sacred. I think we should at least do what the Greeks did. We should at least have 2 words, eros and agape, romantic love and divine love. That way, when somebody says, "I love you," well, they could say, "I agape you," and there would be no confusion. Love, it's a great word. It's a word I use with music. I love music. I love this guitar. Before I loved this guitar, I loved another guitar. And it was a beautiful guitar, too. It was made out of maple. It was bigger and had this beautiful blonde finish because it was maple, and it was striking looking, very, very pretty guitar. I'd had it for a long time. I was very attached to it. We get attached to our instruments. As much as I loved that guitar, I started having this idea that I wanted a different guitar. I wanted one that finger-picked a little more easily. I wanted one that sounded a little different acoustically. But I wasn't doing anything about it. I thought and thought and thought, and the desire was getting pretty strong, but I wasn't doing anything, partly because I'm picky. I don't like shopping for guitars. It's hard for me to find one I like, but also because a lot of guitar stores are staffed by what we could call young rock musicians. And I don't mean to knock young rock musicians, because I used to be one. But tell me if in your mind these two things go together. Young rock musicians, great customer service. Not always. Anyway, I'm putting it off. I'm just putting it off, and then fate intervenes in the Honolulu airport in the form of this woman I will affectionately refer to as Attila the gate agent. And I still don't know what her deal was. You know, it was a power trip, or she just had a bad lunch or whatever. But I'm walking up to the gate counter with my beautiful maple guitar over my shoulder in a gig bag. It's a soft case that's nice and light, fits overhead in the plane, or you can hang it in the closet. And I've been doing this every week for years. And she sees me coming. I get about 15 feet away from the gate counter, and she points at me. And she says in a loud voice, she says, "That is not going on the plane with you." I thought, what? And I just turned away, and I thought, what's going on here? That's so weird. And then I thought about it, and I thought, well, you know what? She doesn't realize that I'm a professional musician. She just needs to know that. So I go back up to the counter. I give her a big smile. I said, "Hey, you know what? I'm a professional musician. I got a concert in San Francisco. I fly your airline all the time. I got an expensive guitar here." And she interrupts me. She says, "I don't think you heard me. That's not going on the plane with you." And she walks off. I thought, this is going to be harder than I thought. So I think about this, and I realize, well, maybe she's worried about the load. So I go back up a few minutes later. I said, "Hey, you know what? You're probably worried about the load. How about this? We'll let everybody else get on the plane. I'll get on last, and we'll see if there's room." It was a big plane. I knew there'd be room. And she says, "No. I've already told you twice. Dad is not going on the plane with you. Now stop bothering me about this. Figure out what you're going to do." And now I'm worried. People are boarding the plane, so I'm officially worried because I got to get the guitar on the plane. I can't check it in this little case. And so finally I just resort to begging. I just go up and I start pleading with her. You know, "Come on, can we just try? Can we talk to a flight attendant? Can we just see if there's room? There's got to be something we can do. Please, can you work with me?" And she just shakes her head. She looks at me and she says, "You have two choices. You can check it or you can leave it here. It's not going with you." And I could tell she meant it. So I said, "Okay, well, here it is. I'm giving it to you. Please ask the baggage people to put it somewhere safe, because it could get hurt in this little case with no protection." She just took it. She didn't say anything. Off she went. So I get on the plane. It turns out I'm in the front row of coach, the bulkhead seat. And across from me is the little jump seat where the flight attendant sits. So a flight attendant comes, sits down, and the plane takes forever to taxi. So we end up chatting, and I end up telling her the whole story of Attila. And to her credit, she's appalled. She can't believe it. She listens to my whole thing, and then she says, "You know what? I have to apologize for our airline. This is wrong. This should not have happened. I don't know why it happened. The closets are empty. There's plenty of room. And we're not all like this. We try to accommodate musical instruments. We know they're precious. So please accept my apology for our airline, and please don't hold it against us." And I felt better, and she got up to go to work, and I thought that was the end of it. But she evidently told all the other flight attendants. And so when we get to San Francisco and it's my turn to get off the plane, all 7 of them are lined up at the exit, and I'm walking by them, and they said, hey, look, here's your guitar. They brought it up for you. And I said, "Great." And I thought, let's look at it. And I unzipped the case and opened it up. Smashed. You know, it was in an altered state. It was splinters. And it wasn't going to be played again. And I felt bad. The flight attendants felt bad. So 3 of them marched me down to baggage service. And they said, "Look, here's what happened. This guy got a bad deal. We'll vouch for it. Here's our names, our employee numbers. We think you should make this right because this was wrong and shouldn't have happened. Then they left because it was midnight and they had to work the next day. So here I am in the bowels of the San Francisco airport. There's nobody around except this girl across the counter who looks about 12. And she looks up at me with a sweet face and she says, "I can't help you. I'm only 18. I just work here. I don't have authority to do anything. But if you want to come back in the morning at 9 o'clock, the manager will be here. And you can talk to her then. But I have to tell you something. We have this company policy. It's very firm. We never compensate for musical instruments. It's just we do not do it. But you can come back in the morning and talk to the manager." So I left. I went to where I was spending the night. And you know how hard it is to sleep when you're upset? And my feelings for Attila were not something I could share with you outside of group therapy. And I couldn't sleep. I was just so frustrated, and I got up in the morning exhausted from that anger and that frustration. I was driving out to the airport, and I felt horrible. I just felt awful. And so finally I just prayed, and I said, "God, you know what? I don't care what happens. I'm completely letting this go. Whatever happens is fine. I'm letting go of it. I just want to be calm. Please just help me be calm." And it worked. By the time I got to the airport, I was calm. I felt fine. I went in, the manager was there. We sat down. I told her the whole story. I had everybody's names. And she just listened. And when I was finished, she said, kind of shook her head, and she said, "Wait a minute." And she disappeared. And eventually, she came back with this other higher manager, and they sat down, and they said, "Look, we have this company policy. We don't compensate for musical instruments." I said, "I know. I heard that." And they said, "Well, we've talked this over, and we think we need to buy you a new guitar." I said, "Really?" And they said, "Yep. Find one you like. We'll pay for it." So I got out of there before they could say anything else, and I asked my friends in San Francisco, my musician friends, I said, "Where do I go to get a guitar?" And they said, "There's only one place for a serious musician. There's the best guitar store, really the only one, is the Haight-Ashbury Music Center." Great. So off I go to Haight-Ashbury. Now, has anybody been there lately? I mean, because I'm from Kansas. And Haight-Ashbury is like this little corner of the Twilight Zone, where you see the past and the present, some future I can't even imagine. It's all right there on the sidewalk. You know, you see it, you smell it. It's like a smorgasbord. Every kind of personal preference is right there. It's like a smorgasbord for the senses, is what it is. So I'm walking around Haight-Ashbury, getting lost, trying to find this guitar store, getting a little high in the process. And finally, I find this guitar store, and it turns out to be the best guitar store I've ever been in. They have great guitars. They have wonderful salespeople. They know everything I need to know. They don't hover. They don't pressure me. But for 2 days, they bring me guitars and let me play them, answer my questions. And toward the end of the second day, they brought me this. And as soon as I picked it up, I could tell it felt different. It felt fantastic. It fit my hands really well. I loved how it sounded. I loved how it played. I played it the rest of the day. And then they let me take it out of the store that night and do a concert with it. And that's when I knew this was my new guitar. Now, the thing is, I love this guitar so much. I haven't missed the old one for 10 seconds. I've never thought about it. This is a way better guitar. As I said, it plays more easily, it sounds better, it's more fun. $600 more expensive than my old guitar, totally paid for by the airline. And the thing is, I owe it all to Attila, the gate agent. You never know who's going to turn out to be an angel in your life. They might not look like it at first. But when that happens, when things like that happen, it makes me think about the mystery of connection, which is something I'm fascinated by. You know, the little ways that we're all connected that we might not ever be aware of or ever know about. I mean, if the mystics are right, if God is everything, if everything is God, then surely everything must be connected. And how could we possibly ever understand that mentally? So that's one of the thoughts. That is a beautiful thought that fills me with a sense of wonder. And wonder is the key word here, because what the best mystics and the best scientists have in common is a sense of wonder at the workings of the universe. And what the best of those have in common, the ones we remember as our teachers, is a sense of humor, the ability to take it lightly. You know, Einstein was a really funny guy. Research is what we do because we don't know what we're doing. You know, that's not the exact quote. It was funnier. Okay. So a sense of humor and a sense of wonder are the two things that really help me when I get confronted by some big thing I'll never be able to understand. You know, just stay fascinated by it and have fun with it. And I have to go there every day, both those places, sense of humor, sense of wonder. So that's what's helped me the most. There's a German theologian I like, Karl Rahner, who said something cool. He said, there are two kinds of people in the world: people who need certainty and people who seek understanding. And I would suggest to you that it's better to be a seeker of understanding, because when you're sure you're right, you're stuck with what you already know. Does that make sense? When you're sure you're right, you're stuck with what you already know. Okay, well, obviously we don't have time for all the mysteries I mentioned. You know, we didn't get to death and consciousness and women. We'll save those for this afternoon. We'll have some fun with it. We'll kind of pick this up and just keep rolling this afternoon. We'll have some fun with all the rest of those and some more. But for now, what I'd like to do is to take these ideas into meditation. And to get into meditation, I have this beautiful chant that I'd like to teach you. Some of you know it, but most of you don't, probably. A lot of people think I wrote this because I recorded it a long time ago, but it's not mine. It's Michael Stillwater's chant. It's a beautiful, powerful piece of music. It's a two-part chant. We have a low part for the guys. We have a high part for the ladies. We sing them together at the same time, and it's transportive. It really is. It's magical. So I'm going to teach it to you quickly, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to use it. All right, so the low part, which is typically the male part, is very simple. It's only 4 lines, and they're very similar. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. So it's mother, love, Father, God, that order. And this is how it sings. If you know it, help me teach it. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. So it's just mother, love, God. All right, let's try it. 1, 2, 3. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of a good. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, a little louder this time. Come on. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. Great. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, that's great. That's the low part. So typically the male part, as I said, if you're not a male and you want to sing that part, it's okay. But we have this beautiful, and you know, I'm just going to say this. For a couple of you, this is actually easier with your mouth open. Don't be afraid to sing. It's not about how you sing. It's about making a sound. We're going to make a sound together with this many people in this room. That's going to be awesome. And if you help make the sound, then it will do something great for you. Okay? So high part for the female voice or a male tenor, it's Ave Maria. And then a Greek phrase. You've heard this phrase before. Kyrie eleison. That means Lord have mercy. Kyrie eleison. If you can't remember that, just think carry a laser with an accent, and you'll be close enough, okay? And this is how it sings, and Deborah and Vashti are going to, did I say that right? Yeah. They're going to help me teach it to you. So you can either sing it at my octave, or real high if you're a soprano, at their octave, it doesn't matter, or you can sing harmony, whatever you want to do, buddy. Ave Maria, Kyrie eleison. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ave Maria, Kyrie eleison. Ave Maria, Ave Maria, Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. One more time.
Ave Maria.
Beautiful.
Kyrie
eleison. Oh, this is going to be amazing. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to start with the low part. We're going to get all the guys. Guys, I need all of you. We're outnumbered. We're going to get all the guys and do the low part, and then we're going to bring in the Aves, and we're just going to do this a few times, and then we're going to get quiet with it, go into meditation, and after meditation, we'll come back with our chant and see what happens. So I invite you to relax. Just give yourself to this. Just let everything go and be here and see what happens. Feel it. Okay, so guys, males and male helpers, any male helpers. So I am one with the heart of the Mother, love, Father, God. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Again, just the low part. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Keep it going, men, ladies. Ave, Ave. Same thing, here we go. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Again. Softer now. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Very softly. Just silently. Be patient. Be patient. patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart. And try to love the questions themselves. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you yet, for you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. You must give birth to your images. They are the future, waiting to be born. The future must enter you long before it happens. So rest now. Just rest. Let me bring you trays of food, something cool to drink, and use my soft words as a cushion for your head. For this is the hardest work you will ever do. This separation from God is the hardest work that you will ever do. Let's get ready to hum our parts together. Together. Softly, I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. A little louder. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, full voice now. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Again. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. One more time, full voice. Just breathe that in for a minute. That was beautiful. I hope you felt that. And what happens when we do that? We actually have aligned our brain waves now in a very, very powerful pattern. There's some other things that happen. There's some great science from Germany that's shown that people who sing together in groups, there's all these health benefits. You live longer. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens. So I hope you felt that. I hope it got you to a wonderful place. And I think we should stay in this place for a minute and share our tithes and our blessings and our offerings from this place.